Okay, Wendy, so I've made you host again and you are now live.
Okay. Hello, hello.
Have a
Okay, let me just record it and okay, good. We're ready to roll. Okay, got my
okay. Have a good day. See you later. Bye
bye.
bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Okay. Let me get my out. There we go.
Hey Wendy, this is your TA for today's class. How are you doing?
Oh, how are ya? How are you?
I'm great. Would you mind making me a co-host so that I can moderate your class?
Of course. You have to remind me again. Where are you from? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from. I'm your TA, so actually your assistant. So
Yeah.
I'm calling from the support office for Get Set Up.
Oh no, I know that, but what city are you in?
Oh, I'm from Pakistan. It is in Asia.
And are you in Pakistan or are you in San Francisco or something?
No, I'm in Pakistan.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
Welcome. We've been together before, and I really appreciate all your help.
thanks. No worries. I will be here.
What time is it there?
So it is like 1:30 in the morning.
Wow. I just want to see how many people I have in this class. I'm not sure. I want to see so I can like know when I.
There are like 5 people right now, excluding you and me.
No, I know that, but I want to know how many are registered.
I can see that you will be able to, 'cause, I'm just a TA. You will have that access.
I know. I'm going to look at it right now. I'm
Yes.
going to look at it right now. I have 13 people registered. Okay. Hi, everybody. Those of you that are on here already. Hi, Marjorie. Hey, Rita.
Hi.
Hi, guys. How are you? We're going to wait a few minutes for a few other people.
And the brother is another mess too, but that's a whole nother. Yeah, there's a lot of players.
Somebody's having some fun. We're going to let them have fun until we start.
Thank you.
I don't ever mind listening to background as long as it's dogs barking or somebody laughing until we start. So Rita, where are you calling in from? Where are you from?
Bronx, New York.
Bronx, New York, and I can hear the accent.
You got it, honey. Can
Love
you hear me clearly? Because I have a problem with my earphones.
You couldn't be more clear.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Hey, Marjorie,
Hi,
where are you calling in from?
I am in Orlando, Florida,
Oh, that's nice.
and it's warm and sunny today.
Nice. Hi, Ann.
Hi, I'm from Detroit, Michigan area.
I heard you guys were having vaccine problems. Is that right?
Well, too many people are.
We're having COVID problems.
COVID problems. Yeah, like it's back. It's coming
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Can you everybody mute while we're getting started? And I promise I will let you talk to your whatever you want to talk till you're blue, green, or purple in the face. It's fine. We're gonna wait a few more minutes because we have a few more joining us, but we do have Michael, who is a Get Set Up TA, and he is joining us. If you have any questions, especially questions I can't answer, maybe he can answer them. But if you have any questions, check Nicole questions, or just if the chat room gets too busy or anything like that. I'm very fortunate to have him help me. And yeah, so, well, I'm in Colorado. I'll tell you more about myself in a minute, but I am in Colorado, and it's beautiful today, but you know, I was out early and it was a little chilly. It's 43, but you know what? 43 in Colorado is like 60 in a lot of places because we have the blue sky, we have the sunshine, but I'm just looking at my calendar. It's going to snow on Friday. That's not good. That is not good. But anyway, I am so glad to be here with you guys, and I am trying, that's the key word here, to be better at knowing who I'm teaching, not only in my current classes, but if you're taking any of my other classes, because I feel like people are showing up again and again, sort of, and I'm so bad, like with names and sometimes even with faces, because I just teach a lot, and I love all of you so much, and I'm so happy you're here. So if you're here for the first time, give me a here for the first time. Everybody's taken my class before? Yes?
No, I've not. I'm Get Set Up, but not your class.
No, and I haven't.
Who's talking? Is that Trudy?
This is Trudy, yes.
Okay, I can't see your beautiful face, so I'm assuming you're whoever you are.
Yeah, I am Trudy, and you know, I've been on Zoom. I go on Zoom a lot, and I'm tired of looking at me. I love me, but you know.
You know, you should put a picture of, like, you know, somebody else up there. Just,
Yeah. I will one day.
Trudy, have you taken my class before?
No.
And Anne, have you? No. And Joan? Or Marjorie, have you? No? Marjorie, you're still on mute.
Yes, I have, but I don't know anything about the iPad, so I wanted to do it again.
You know what? Let me tell you, I'm here. I'm with you. I've been in your shoes. It's 2:35. We're going to start, even though we're missing a few people. Their loss, not ours. Okay, so I know you all know about Get Set Up. It's this great organization that takes people like me and teaches people like you things that you want to know and learn. I'm sure if we flip the switch, you could teach me some things, but for right now, I guess that I'm in the teacher's chair. So we don't get paid for anything, not that we're promoting anything really. We are going to record this session right this minute. Oh, it looks like my friend Michael's already recording it. Of course he is, because he's like all talk totally on it. Thanks, Michael. And so if you want a recording of this, which just reminded me, I promised somebody a recording. Woo! I promised somebody a recording last week, and now I unpromised. I didn't fulfill my promise. That's not good. Okay, better get my head out of the wedding mode. My daughter's getting married in August, and I'm in wedding mode daily, which means like wedding brain, like bride brain. It's terrible. But anyway, okay, so this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna share some screens with you today. First, I'm gonna share a kind of boring screen, but then we'll get to more fun screens. Okay, so this is my iPad class screen, and I don't touch things, and I swear to God, I have a ghost in my remote because I sometimes put it down and things move. Anyway, this class is super informative. We're here to build confidence in your iPad. Raise your hand if you are on your iPad or if you're taking this from another device. I guess that should make sense. Raise your hand. I asked two questions, and that one was yes and one was no. Raise your hand if you're taking this class on your iPad right now.
I don't know. I got my iPad here, but I'm doing it on my laptop.
That's the best way to do it, Rita. That is the best way to do it. If you ever can take any of my iPad classes on another device and have your iPad next to you, that works great. Okay, just because then you can do so. If you can't do that, no worries. You're gonna remember everything I say, I promise. And make it fun. Okay, so I already went through this, Okay, this is your iPad. Hello, iPad. We're gonna learn all about the outside of the iPad so that we can then go on to the inside of the iPad. Number one, down at the bottom, down there, that is your home button. Everybody has one, unless you're on a brand new iPad like you, and then you just have like nothing, but I can put a home button on there for you. But it's like an indentation, right? And right below it lives the charging port. The charging port is super important because that is where you make that thing go. Now, something I need to share with you about your charging port. You must use this little guy to charge your iPad. It is not your little iPhone charger. It is your iPad charger. Okay, they are different. And the important thing is that, because this is the this is your iPhone charger, right? Little guy. This guy does not have enough power, strength, or wattage to charge your iPad. So don't use that, please. But you may use the same cord, just don't use the same little box. Okay. So that's the charger. Number 3 are your speakers. Don't need to know anything about them except that they're there. And that's where you're going to hear things from. Number 4, up at the top of your iPad, if your iPad is vertical. Up at the top, right, is your on-off button and your sleep-wake button. Let me tell you the difference. We turn our iPads on in the morning, and then after being on them for a certain amount of time, they are set, because you or set them or someone in an Apple store, or they came set to go off after a certain number of minutes, hours, whatever, to go black. In order to make them come back on, to wake them up, you just tap the screen. You just tap the middle of the screen right there. Or you tap, whoa, see, told you, ghosting. You tap number 4 at the top, just tap, and that wakes it up. That is go to sleep and wake up. It goes to sleep on its own. You don't need to read it a bedtime story and put it to sleep. It goes to sleep on its own. Waking it up, you need to wake it up. But,
Excuse me, isn't the home button the same premise?
Nope. The home button just brings you home. It doesn't, like, you can't push it hard and make the iPad turn off. You can touch to make the iPad turn on, like wake up. That's very true. Good question. Good. That's good. But you can't make it go to sleep with that. It'll go to sleep on its own. I'll show you how to change that. Closing or turning off the iPad is different. That is a hard reboot. That turns it off, puts it to sleep for the night, drains 0 battery, and is a good thing to do. With that, you hold number 4 down for 3 seconds or more until you see something come up that says power off. You then slide your finger and power it off. If you want to turn it back on, you hold number 4 down for 3 to 4 seconds until you see the little apple come on, and then you see your screen. Okay. 5 and 6 are your volume buttons. You can turn the volume up or down. That is the sound coming out of your iPad at all times, no matter, sorry about that, no matter what you are listening to, music, me, an app. That is how you control. I swear to God, I'm going to lose my gourd with this thing. That is how you change the volume. Number 7, that's your headphone jack. That is where, if you have wired headphones, it has a little plug, and that's where you plug it in. Number 8 is your camera. You don't need to know anything about it, but it's looking at you, babe. So that's how the camera, like, that's how you're looking at me now if you're on it. That's how you're looking at anything where it's FaceTime or Zoom or anything where you're using your device. That's the camera that's looking at you. Got it? Got it. That's all we're gonna do. Class is over. Bye. Just kidding. Okay. I'm gonna stop sharing that screen, and now I'm gonna share my iPad with you. All right? Give me a second to do that. And then we can learn about the iPad. All right. So here is my iPad, and your iPad, if it's horizontal, should look the same. The only thing you're not gonna see on your iPad is that little dot, black with the white circle, and you're not going to see the little paintbrush or circle or any of those things at the top, because that is my program to share my iPad with you. Okay, so we talked about the outside of the iPad. Let's talk about the inside, a couple of things. Far left top is the time and the date. Far right are the following. The bars are your cellular data bars, just like on your phone. They tell you how strong your cellular connection is if you have a cellular iPad. If you only have a Wi-Fi iPad, you don't see those. The next little fan, I like to call it a fan. It's kind of like this. It starts with 1 dot and then makes like a fan, and those get broader and broader. When those are wiped and filled in, your Wi-Fi is connected. The next 2 I'm not going to talk much about. I'll talk about the moon. The reason the moon is on is because I have turned my iPad to not go to sleep, because otherwise I can't teach you my full class because it'll keep going to sleep and I have to wake it up. And so I've just turned it not to go to sleep. The next button is the percentage of your battery that's charged. And then you've got your little battery next to it with the lightning bolt. If the lightning bolt is not showing, it is not charging. Okay, important. A lot of people charge or turn on their iPad, put their charger in it, and walk away, like me sometimes. And then I realize that my little noodle, my little block, is not plugged in. So make sure you do that, because otherwise you wake up in the morning, you're very disappointed that your iPad's not charged. All right, for our friendly newbies, this is the first page of your iPad. Okay, this is the home page of your iPad. I want you all to touch the home page. Just touch it. The most important thing I can teach you today is that your finger is your mouse. And therefore, you need to treat it like your mouse. Every action that you do with your finger is like the action with your mouse. When you move your finger, you slide it, or when you move your mouse, you slide it or you tap it to do the action. It's the same thing with your finger. You slide your finger and you don't let go of or you don't assume the action is going to happen until you let go. This is the most critical and the most difficult thing on our iPad is getting the touch with your finger. So what we're going to do to see if you've got the touch, take a finger, I'm going to put it on my iPad and I'm going to slide. Okay, there's terminology, slide. I'm going to slide like I'm wiping a chalkboard. I'm just going to slide across and it's going to bring me to new pages. Your pages might be empty. They might be full. They are full, then they're full with some applications that were pre-downloaded or that somebody or you may have downloaded. The bottom line is it's the scrolling. This is not an action where you have to like worry about letting go. This is a scrolling action. You can do it with one finger or two. Okay. Now, their other action is holding your finger on something until you get the action that you want. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold one of the applications, one of the icons. An application is a book in the library. In order to read that book, we have to check it out, bring it home, and read it. That's what the application store is like on our iPad. We go to the application store, and we'll go through this later, but we go to the application store, we find the application we want, we get it, we open it, we install it, or I guess install and then open, and then we bring it home. We bring it to our iPad. That's the download part, okay? Just like we can return a book, we can return an application. The cool thing is about returning an application is twofold. One, it takes the contents of the application off your iPad, giving you more space. But two, it remembers you because it remembers that you checked it out. And so it gives you an opportunity to bring it back to your iPad very quickly. All right. So that's just so that you understand. This is called your dock. Your dock holds applications that you use frequently. I keep on my dock my mail, my calendar. I don't keep my this is my reminders. I don't really keep them there, but it's there now. My messages, my photos, a browser, which is called Safari, and my notes. Then I have a line. And that line, to the right of that line, are applications that I have recently opened. You will see like a copy of them. See how that is the same as there? That's because I've recently used it. You will not see any of these apps living again up here because you've brought them down. You have checked them, now I'm going to use that metaphor. You have brought them to your desk from your bookshelf. They're now on your desk, you have them, you can use them. You can put as many applications on your dock. Let's see if I can write with this pencil. C-O, I've never done this. C-K, cool. You can put as many applications on your dock as you want until they get really small or they fill up. I can't tell you how many you can put on because every iPad's different depending upon its size. Now, the difference between the applications that live up here versus the dock, this is our first page. Remember I told you this is the first page of your iPad? I keep applications here that I use. Not that I use a lot, but that I use. So you don't have to go sliding through all your pages and find them. Okay, so how do we move our applications to our dock or to our front page? I want you to listen and then we're going to try it. You're going to take your finger. You're going to hold down the application until you see something come up that looks like this. And the one thing that you're looking for is edit home screen. We're not going to learn about the others right now. Edit home screen. Now, if I go to touch edit home screen, everything starts wiggling. On the iPad, just as on the iPhone, if something's wiggling, it means you can do something with it. So say I want to move those photos into my dock. I'm holding my finger, holding my finger, holding my finger, holding my finger, and I don't let go until it's in my dock. And then I touch my home button and everything starts bluing. I would like you guys to take an application on your first page and drag it into your doc. And make sure you can do it and then tell me. And so do you remember what I told you? Hold it until you see the word edit home screen, and then you drag it down. I'll do it again. I'll do it with maps. I'm gonna hold it down. I'm gonna go to edit home screen, wiggle, 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 and I'm gonna drag it down, and I'm not gonna let my finger go till it's down there. All right, I'm gonna pull a few of these out just because I need them for some other things in a minute. Does everybody understand that? Does everybody get that movement of pulling your an icon or an application into the doc?
Yes.
The reason it's so important is because we're going to learn other things you need to use that exact thing, that exact way to do things. The most important part is that you can't make a mistake. The worst thing you can do is, I'll show you, this is the worst thing you can do. Oh, sorry. I'm going to hold down photos. I'll go to edit home screen, and I'm dragging my photos, and I think it's down there, and it's not. So it pops back up. No big deal. Do it again. Yes, Marjorie.
Please stop it from wiggling now.
Just push your home button
Oh, okay, thanks.
or tap in the middle of your screen.
Okay.
Okay, so that action of moving an application, the important part is the touch. That is the beginning of learning the touch of the iPad. And oftentimes, like I said, the most difficult part of this silly iPad is the touch. Now, I have something called a stylus, and I like my stylus. I use it a lot on my iPad. It seems to have the right touch. It seems to have the right feel. My finger's not touching it. I don't have to worry about washing my hands every second. But a stylus is a really nice tool to use for your iPad. Okay. We are going to go learn a few things about how our iPad works. You have a book on your iPad, an application called Settings. You're going to tap it, and this box is going to open. This is the brain center of your iPad. This is where you make changes that are going to control things that you do. Anything you do on here can be changed again. There is nothing you're going to do that's going to be a lock and key. You can't change it. Nothing. Okay? You make a mistake, we can change it. What I want to talk about today is this little guy right here. This says my name, and underneath it, it says Apple ID, iCloud, medium purchases, and a few other things. It's got 3 dots. When I touch it, the next screen comes up. This is what I'm looking for. My Apple ID, wemiller11@me.com. Yours will look the same with your name and your Apple ID underneath it. Does everybody see that? If for some reason you don't see that, then we have a problem. But never to fear, your Apple ID can be found because it's an email address that you use. I don't care if it's an email address that you used when you were living with the dinosaurs. It doesn't have to be working. It's just an email address. It's not a email address that's actually open and working for email. It's an email address that you set up when you set up your iPad. Many, many, many people use their current email address, tomjones@gmail.com as their Apple ID. Whatever you've done, you've set it up. Do not call Apple and tell them you want another Apple ID. It's like having 2 social security numbers. It's like having an alias and yourself. It will make your life and mine and anyone else that helps you with your iPad crazy. So do not get another Apple ID. What you can do is get a new password if you've forgotten it. At the end of the class, I'll put in the chat room, and I'll also make sure in the notes that I give you the phone number for Apple support to reset your password if you've forgotten it. There are ways to do it yourself, but Apple loves to help you reset a password. Everybody understand that? Any questions? Your Apple ID is your driver's license for Apple World. You don't have it and you don't have the password, you don't have the key to it, you can't do anything. Can't drive it, can't go places with it, can't do anything. So you have to have your Apple ID and your password. Now, I'm going to touch with my finger name, phone numbers, and email. I'm just going to touch it. And what's going to come up is it's going to say sign into iCloud. Enter the password for your Apple ID. iCloud is the cloud living in Utah in a big truck. It's connected to your iPad. You don't need to see it. You don't need to know anything about it, but it is a storage server for your information. And it's a storage server for your Apple ID and your password. So I'm going to put my password in there because I know it, because this is what I want to show you. I know my password. When I put it in and I say, okay, I get another screen. This screen tells me a few things. It tells me that my password was right. It tells me where I'm reachable. It tells me that my Apple ID is here. It tells me that if I want to get messages, not emails, messages and FaceTime on this iPad, it tells me my phone number. And then it has three other, this is just me, you're not going to have all this. It has three other email addresses that I can possibly be reached at. Okay, this is not important. This is just, you need to get to this screen. You need to know that your password worked and that it got to it. Apple has this little arrow on the top of any screen that has a previous screen. Okay, so it's basically like you've opened the book, you're at the first chapter. You flip the page, this is page 2. If I touch that little arrow and I go back, I'm now on page 1. And as you can see, there's no arrow up here, right? So I can't, if I flip the page again, I'm going to go back to the cover. So there's nowhere to go from here. But what I can do is touch this, password and security. Now, didn't I just type my password in there? I did, right? So I don't want to do any of these things. I don't need to change my password. I don't need to get a verification code. I don't need to do any of these things. This is just for you to know. So again, go backwards. Now this is what is important. Payment and shipping. I'm going to touch it and show you. In order to download applications, free or not, you must have a payment method that is active in your settings. What is missing from here is my security code. Now, Apple does not distinguish when they say purchase from a free download or a paid download. To them, it means purchase. Yes, you will pay for some, but hopefully you'll not pay for a lot. However, in case you decide to buy that Rolls Royce off of the App Store, they better have your credit card. Because if you buy it and they don't have your credit card, then it's not going to show up in your driveway. If you buy it and you want to return it, you call Apple the next hour and you say, I made a mistake. I bought a Rolls Royce on the App Store and I don't want it. Bottom line is you can't do anything. You can download some apps that are like Apple native apps without having this information, but you have to, and if you're having a problem downloading an app, this is where the problem is, right here. They will keep your information very secure. It is encrypted. Once I enter that CVV, it will be encrypted. No one will know, and it'll probably go away. And the next time you get on your iPad, you may have to enter it again. Apple's getting super, super, super strict about verification, authentication, and security codes. But if you don't have that piece of information, or if you're having trouble downloading an app, free or not, this is probably where the glitch is, okay? A lot of people don't understand why it won't download. It won't download. I have my credit card in there. It's because it keeps all this information, but it forgets your security code almost every time. Okay, that is crucial information. All right, so now I'm gonna go again. There's an arrow, right? And this little back arrow, guys, is going to be, sorry, my cursor's a little goofy. This little back arrow is going to be on so many Apple things that you're gonna see. That means, like I said, just keep pushing it till you can't go back anymore, till you're at the cover page. Oops, sorry, I did not mean to do that. I so did not mean to do that. I literally just like knocked you guys out of my, sorry about that. I literally took you off of my screen share. I so apologize. Let's resume that share. Okay, here we go. Maybe resume share. Maybe, maybe not. Sorry about that. What the heck, Wendy, did you do? Let's do this again. Let's go to Let's View. I so apologize. I got a little happy, to screen happy with me. Going backwards, didn't I? Okay. Let's do this again. All right, here we go. So back on my iPad. All right, so that is settings. Now we're back at settings and we have all these. You're going to now swipe the chalkboard up, swipe it up, and you're going to see all kinds of things here, right? The only ones we're going to talk about today are accessibility, right here. Touch accessibility. Accessibility helps us do all kinds of things in terms of seeing and viewing and listening and all those kinds of things. The important parts that I want to talk about today are display and text size. You push display and text size, you will see, my little thing, you will see that I have bold text. Turn it on, why not? Make your life easier. It's not going to do anything but increase the font, not size, but make it bold. Like when you're writing a letter and you really mean it. No reason not to turn that on, right? The next thing is larger text. If I push larger text, I can make my screen as big or as little as I want. And I'm doing it by moving this little circle. Slide to the right, slide to the left. I keep mine one dash beyond the middle. And that's because I don't want it to get so big that I can't see very many things on my screen. But those two things alone are going to just help you see your screen better. When we get into farther, when you get better on your iPad, you take my more advanced classes, we'll learn about all these other things in here, okay? But right now, that's all you need to know about. We'll learn about all this, but right now, you just need to know those two things. I'm going to hit my home button. It's going to take me back to my home screen. I'm going to stop and ask everybody if you're okay, where you're at, what you need to know. How's everybody doing? Any questions? Okay, Smarty Pants, let's go on.
I couldn't find accessibility when you got there.
Let's go back. Let's find it.
Under settings.
Under settings, scroll
Yeah.
down. It might be scroll down and you might see it. So do you see general?
Yes.
Keep scrolling and you're eventually going to see accessibility. You don't see it? How old's your iPad?
I was very old, probably 10 years or more.
Okay.
So, excuse me, so was mine. What I did in settings is I wrote in search accessibility.
And it was under
that-
general, I bet.
And that's how it came up.
As on the general? Okay.
I think is it under general, Rita?
Yeah, it's under
Yes,
general.
yes.
and
It's
then-
on the general. I found it. It's on the general.
Good.
Thank you. You know, this is something I neglected to say. You guys are so wonderful with each other. It just makes my heart just so big. Thank you for sharing that because
Thank you.
my iPad is a little bit newer, so it's not that new, believe it or not. It's probably 8 years old. It's probably 10 years old, whatever. I just bumped up. But let me tell you something. You might be able to update your iPad.
Okay.
And you know what? Before I go to the next screen, I'm going to actually show you this. This is kind of important. So, give me a second because I can't remember exactly how I always do it. I think I go to general and then I think I go to update. Okay. So go to general and then you should maybe see a screen that looks like this.
Yes.
Go to software update and see what it says. Does it say check?
All of us to do that?
Yeah, just see what it says.
It said your software is up to date.
What is your iPad version? iPad OS?
iOS 9.3.
Oh yeah, girlfriend, you are living in the dinosaur age, but guess what? It's okay. The dinosaurs know how to do everything. It's fine. Perhaps your iPad cannot handle the newer updates, but you know
Okay.
what? It's okay. If there's something that we come across that you have to do that you can't because you're not on a later update, that'll be the time to address a new iPad. But guess what? For the most part, all the things you're going to want to do on this iPad, you're fine. But I will
Okay.
tell you, the newer, it's not so much the newer, you can even buy like a used iPad that's even maybe a couple of years newer than yours, and it will probably take the update.
My daughter has a newer one. I just have this old.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You don't have to have the latest, greatest. Trust me. Sometimes the latest, greatest are not the best because they're still working the glitches out. But if you get an iPad that you can buy even a used one, I'm telling you, go in, guys. You go to buy a refurbished one. A refurbished one is half the price, and it's got the same warranty, and it's it's been like opened, redone, sponged down, Cloroxed, and it's good. But it's really amazing. The only thing that really has changed on the iPad with the newer iPads and some stuff is maybe the color is brighter and some of the things you can do are newer. But if you get to that point, you're like, Wendy, I really want to be able to do some of this stuff if you're taking my more advanced classes. We can talk about that. All right, so
Okay.
let's click our home button again and go home.
Okay.
All right. We're all going to go to the App Store. Does everybody know what the App Store looks like? It looks like this. It's an A made out of popsicle sticks. Apple does a really nice job of writing down what its apps are. It's beautiful. Contacts, comp, whatever, okay? Touch your Apple Store, guys. This is really funny because I just had a disaster on my last class. Okay, so this is what you should see. Do you see this? It might not look exactly like this, but it should look like this. Monday, April 12th, and then have sort of. Does it say Monday, April 12th? You have to be on the today box. You have to be right there.
Can I ask you something? This let's view thing, is
Oh,
that
that's me.
personal? That's
That's-
you?
That's me. That's me. That's
All
only
right.
I can control my iPad and you can see it.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for asking though. You have to be on today. Okay, if you're on today, you should see something like this. Something like this. Now, I want you with your,
I have a question.
yeah,
So when it says, like, I'm looking at these apps and it's like sweat fitness apps for women, work at home, in-app purchases. So that means that I have to buy that?
we're gonna get there. Is that
Okay.
Trudy talking to me?
Yes, it is.
Okay, we are gonna get there in 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna slide up. I'm gonna use my, like a chalkboard. I'm sliding up and I'm gonna slide up until I see just, there's all kinds of things, right? Now I'm gonna go over to this little guy and I'm gonna touch it and I'm gonna touch apps. All right, give it a sec. My delay here is a little bit delayed. Okay, so now I see new to iPad and I slide up, I see top free apps made for kids. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I want to explain something about this store. This is your.
But how did you get there again?
Oh, see this little thing down here? Apps.
Where,
All the way down here. At the bottom of the screen, it says apps.
oh, okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Got it. That's where your apps are. Now,
Okay.
there are 4 different symbols. You might only see 3, but there are 4 different symbols that you're going to see on your app store. You're going to see a cloud. We're going to talk about that. You're going to see something that says update. You're going to see something that says open. And then you're going to see maybe a whole bunch that say get. Okay. These are the 4 things we're going to talk about. The first one we're going to talk about is get. Get is you're at the bookstore. You have decided to go to the librarian, check out your book. So I am going to get it. I'm not going to do this one though, because I did it last time. And I've got to be honest with you, it was like the most obnoxious app. Let me just get another one. That is a get. Okay. I am going to get, and you guys don't have to follow me, just watch. I am going to get Simply Piano Joy by Joy Tunes. And it says in-app purchases. This is perfect. I'm going to get it. It is going to ask me if I'd like to install it. My answer is yes. So I'm bringing it home now. So it is spinning, right? You saw that? And now it's going to get a blue box and it's going to have a line going around it. And now I'm getting it. I'm walking home with it. I'm going to walk home with it. It's mine. And as soon as I get home, as soon as it fills in, I'm going to have it. It's going to say open. So let's just give it a second to do that. And that said in-app purchase. So what that means, and this is what I want to show you. That means I can get the app. I can probably look at it. I can probably do a free trial. But then if I want to do anything with it, I have to pay. So now it says open, right? So I'm going to tap open. So there, it shows me the app. Yay, thank you, whatever. Step-by-step learning, making it fun or to use the piano. Great. I'm going to just maybe slide, or I'm not going to slide. This little music bar looks like it's loading it. I probably can't do too much to become a true piano player until I pay for it. And the only way to pay for it, the only way to get going on it is if I push get started. I'll just do this. You don't have to do it. But it's going to say, do you have a piano or keyboard? Okay, yes, I do. But now I just want to take you through. If I create a profile, it's going to make me pay. And so I don't want to do that. All right. I just wanted to show you that exercise. I'm going to go back to my home screen and go back to my app. Go back to my app store because I want to show you what this is all about. So give me a sec because my screen. So I am at the app. No, sorry. So wait, just give me that. Okay, so I'm at the app store and I pushed that Simply Piano, right? And yeah, it let me open it. Let me get it. It let me open it. It let me tell them I had a piano or not. But I can promise you when it said set up a profile, I would set it up and it would say, do you want to pay for this app by the month or by the week? That's what in-app purchase means. Now, if there's an app that doesn't have an in-app purchase, like almost none of them anymore. Oh, okay. This Autodesk Sketchbook, that does not say in-app purchase. So I'm going to go push that one. I'm going to install it. And I'm going to let it roll around. It's pretty fast. So I can do probably all the things that this app is able to do, I probably will be able to do. Because it doesn't require a purchase. I'm going to open it. Just watch me. I'm going to open it. I can take a tour. I can play with it. I can do whatever. That's an application that is going to allow me to do a lot of things, but I don't have to pay for it.
Okay.
Okay. So just give me a second to go back to my app store. So that is the big difference. The big difference is whether or not it says in-app purchase or not.
And
So
where is that indication in that purchase? Where do you see it?
Okay, so look right here. Do you see it says in-app purchase?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to slide back up because I want to go back to something I showed you at the beginning. So I told you that there was a cloud. Look, I told you there was a cloud. We're going to talk about that. I told you there was Get. We talked about Get. We talked about install. We talked about open. Now we're going to talk about the cloud. Okay. If I have an application and I don't want it anymore, I'm going to go back home to my home screen. Just watch this, guys. Say I don't want, I'm going to just slide over because I want to show you something. Say I don't want the Good Reader app, okay? That's this app right here. I don't even know what it is. I'm going to hold it down, and the options are to edit the home screen. That would mean I'd want to move it somewhere, yeah? But I want to delete it. I don't want to see it anymore. I'm going to go to delete. Delete Good Reader. Read this. Deleting this app will also delete its data, but any documents or data stored in the cloud will not be deleted. That means that you have taken the book home, you have done the quizzes in the book, you've now returned the book to the library. When we return the book to the library, the next time you go to check it out, your quizzes are going to be done. And I'm going to show you why. If I go to delete, it took it off of there, yeah? Now, if I go back to my app store and I look for it, book reader, what was it called? It was called like something book reader. I don't remember. What was it called, guys? Do you remember? I can't even remember. I'll find it.
Something
It
reader.
doesn't really matter.
This is something reader.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
reader, right? Well, oh my God, look at you. I can't even remember. Here, I'll search for it. Something reader. I think it was reader. Something. Yeah, I should have remembered. Reader. It was, I don't know what it was. Don't worry about it. The point is that it is gone from my iPad, but it is still living in the cloud. So all of these that have a cloud around them are not on my actual iPad. I don't have them at home with me anymore, but they're under my Apple ID. And if I want to see them again, I simply click the cloud and it will bring it down. So if you've paid for an application, but you don't want to use it anymore for a while, you can delete it. And when you go to download it again, to bring it home again, you don't have to pay again. You've already paid for it.
What
Okay.
if you want to delete it from your cloud? Is that possible?
That's another story. And did you ask me that question once before?
No, first time here.
Okay, I might show you how to do that, but I might not. But let me just show you. So do you guys understand the difference between all the different things on the iPad, on the Apple Store? There's open, there's the cloud, there's get, and then update is only something you need to know if you're working on an application and you're not finding that it's working so well or it's slow. If you go to update, there will be an update for it. Okay. Now, does everybody understand that? You understand the App Store. So today just gives you Apple's, they're going to talk to you about things that they like.
I'm sorry, I got to ask you another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you said update, you're not talking about the update of the system, the whole the whole iPad. You're talking about an update for this particular app. Is that
That's
it?
correct. Can you be
Okay.
my assistant?
What's that?
Can you be my assistant?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so that's exactly right. The update is, so like I have YouTube, I have Google Chrome. So this is actually interesting. You're going to see this in a minute. So I have an update for Chrome. Now, Chrome, as you know, is a browser. It's something where you go to search for whatever you want to look at. These updates are important because most of the time, what these updates do is they update the software for the application and they make the package smaller. So they take up less room on your iPad. Updates are generally really good. Netflix has an update. Maybe I should do that. I have to be honest with you, I hardly ever go through and just check and see what I have. But I want to go back to my home screen. All right, so we're home. Now if I go over here, I can't find that reader thing, right? Because it's off. But I downloaded Sketchbook and I downloaded Simply Piano. I don't want to. I'm going to hold it down, delete app, delete. Simply Piano, hold, delete, delete. If I were to go back to the App Store, they would be in there with a cloud next to them. If you've used it this year and it goes back to the store, or you used it 20 years ago, it goes back to the store. That is why your Apple ID and password are so critical. It's because you want to link everything you do with your Apple device to that iCloud, to that Apple ID and password. There's nothing more frustrating than trying to sync your photos, get your address book, your mail, when you don't have your Apple ID and password. It's literally like trying to put a puzzle together and you're missing two pieces. You're just never going to be able to do it. It just won't work. So critical that you have the Apple ID and password. I've given you guys a lot of information. Do you want me to give you one more piece, that one that Rita asked? Okay. So this is a little more sophisticated. Watch it if you want. Don't watch it if you don't want. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to touch my Wendy Miller Apple ID. Done to that, right? If I go to my, let me just go to subscriptions. I'm not sure it's here or if it's in iCloud. Gotta check real quick. Okay, so those are just subscriptions I bought. If I go into no, that's not what I want to do. Yes, that's what I want to do. I want to go into iCloud and then see where it says manage storage. I'm going to click that right there. And this is going to show me things that I have in here. But as you can see, like a lot of my apps aren't even in here because they're not taking up any space. Let me see if they're in my drive. Okay, so the way to delete apps is you have to go to the iTunes store. That's the only way to delete them. And I have not done that in a long time.
You said iTunes, I-T-U-N-E-S.
Yeah, iTunes store is where you delete apps. I'm pretty positive.
All
It's
right.
a real conundrum in Apple because they changed that. I think that you completely delete apps off the cloud. Let me just write it down. Delete apps from the cloud in iTunes. I'm pretty sure it's in the iTunes store, and it's yeah. Right, permanently delete an app from the cloud. You know, this says that. It's weird. It says. I think. You know, it says that we do what I did a minute ago, but it's not. That didn't work. Exactly. iCloud, manage storage, and then apps. I'm not even seeing all my apps on here. That's why this isn't making sense to me. I wonder if, I think you do have to go to the iTunes store. I'm pretty positive. It's funny, I'm looking at these posts and there's like 20 different posts. Not one of them, good for that. No, you can delete it, but you can hide, yeah, iTunes store. That's how you do it. You go through the iTunes store and you delete it there. So
Thank you.
that's what you do. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't really matter because it's not taking up any space. So it's not something that you really need to to worry about. You're not going to really see them anywhere. You can't, as you can tell, I'm in my cloud and I don't
Do
see
you,
it.
do you teach an advanced iPad?
I teach an intermediate class. Yeah, I teach an intermediate class. I'm just looking at something on my own. I teach an intermediate class and I'm teaching it actually, I think this week. Let's see. I'm teaching it on, I'm teaching it on Thursday at 11:30.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my world. I'm gonna stop sharing this screen. Oh, maybe. Stop my sharing. I'm gonna go back to my world and just tell you guys, thank you for being here with me.
You're very pleasant. You're very pleasant to, spend this hour with. You're very, no, really nice.
Yeah, thank you so very much.
Thank you so much,
Like I said, I had my
Wendy.
iPad for a long time, but I didn't understand it. This is the first time I'm understanding
I learned some things.
after
Thank
so
you.
many years.
Well, look, let me tell you something. Here's my feeling. If you don't learn, I didn't do my job. And if I didn't do my job, then we've all wasted our time. But I want you to I want you to know something. I worked at Apple, okay? I worked at the actual Apple store because I needed to get their secrets. What I learned from the Apple store is that I have patience, but that I also don't care if you ask me the same question 5,000 times. Because guess what? That's how we all learn. We all learn differently. And if you don't get the answer at the beginning of something, then you're like halfway through the Shakespeare play and you don't understand it. You may as well ask me now. I don't care how many times you ask me. I promise you I don't care. If you can, I don't have another language that I know, so you can ask me in another language. But if you don't get it the way someone asked it, just say, Wendy, time out. Because if you don't go through the alphabet A to Z, you cannot learn the device.
Wendy, can I ask a question? I came in late. I was helping my grandson with homework. So I came in late. Will you be doing this again and when?
I teach this class every week and I teach it. I don't have my schedule for next week, but I teach this class almost every week and I teach almost the same things. I try to change it up a little bit if I know you've been in this beginner class, because maybe you're a beginner plus, but you're not like an intermediate. So if you have questions or there's things that you just are like, I'm almost an intermediate. Sometimes it's better to take this class again. And sometimes it's better to take the intermediate class and go, oh, I'm not quite ready. Or ask me questions in that class. I'm open. The intermediate class, the way that I designed that class is a teeny bit different. I have learned from teaching that class that you're far enough to knowing what you know. You might not know what you don't know, but you have some questions. I try to split that class into half the time questions, what do you want to learn? And the other half, what I think would be important for you to learn. So if I hit it, great. If I didn't, you can ask the question or the next time. But I have learned that it's really effective for me to answer your questions, because somebody might be interested in maps and how to navigate those, and somebody else might be interested in photos, and somebody else might be interested in moving apps around. I don't want to just be so general for the hour. So I really try to get specific with people, and everybody always learns something from somebody else's question, right?
Yes.
So
Thank you.
Thank you.
guys.
And
Be
to,
well.
and to the lady that's helping her grandson with the homework, thank you. We as educators appreciate all the help you do with your
Aw,
grandkids.
that's
Thank you
nice.
so much.
I couldn't
You're
agree
welcome.
more. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Tell your friends about Get Set Up. I teach a lot of different classes. Check me out. I teach health and wellness. I teach iPad. I teach iPhone. I teach Mac. I teach like a million things. No, but a
So
lot.
we would get that information through
I will.
Get Set Up. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yeah. And I'm
Thank
going to
you
send you some
so very
notes again that have the Apple support number. So if you're having problems with your password or any of those things, call them. They love to help you. Just don't let them give you another Apple ID.
Okay,
Okay.
thank
okay.
you.
Great.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Have a nice
Thank
day.
you.
I enjoyed, Wendy, you did an excellent job.
Thanks,
Yes,
guys.
I agree.
Okay.